Jacob Hayes was born during the Revolutionary War in Bedford, New York. His father, David Hayes, was a merchant who served under General George Washington and allowed the future president to use his shop to hold staff meetings. As a 7-year-old, young Jacob joined the cause by helping sneak a herd of cattle through enemy lines. In 1798, David asked Aaron Burr to help his son get a position as a marshal in New York City. Jacob's early success led to his appointment as High Constable by the mayor in 1802. He oversaw a small constabulary of 28 part-time watchmen who, after their day jobs, worked from dusk to dawn under a system that was first established by the Dutch in 1658 and kept in place by the English when they gained control of New York City in 1674. Although the High Constable was supposed to handle administrative chores, such as processing writs and court orders, Hayes expanded his duties to include peacekeeping and crime-solving. He spent up to 18 hours a day patrolling the wards of Lower Manhattan, using little more than a wooden staff and a swift kick to enforce the law. He was the first New York policeman to shadow a criminal. His reputation was such that whenever there was trouble, the city fathers would cry, "Set old Hayes at them." It was said that his mere presence, coupled with a stern warning to go home, was usually enough to quell a street brawl and disperse the troublemakers, but more than likely a few well-aimed blows were required to get the message across. The High Constable was said to reward a suspected liar with a crack on the shin with his staff, shouting, "Good citizens, tell the truth." In solving murders of his day, Hayes relied on his wits, his powerful recall, and his innate ability to outsmart suspects. Sometime in 1820, the exact date is long forgotten, as is the name of the victim, Hayes was called to Coenties Alley in the First Ward, near Coenties Slip and just north of Fraunces Tavern. In those days, dozens of boat slips lined the shore of Manhattan's southern tip. A dead shipmaster had been found with a fatal wound to the head. The victim appeared to have been killed during a robbery. Hayes rightly assumed the perpetrator was a fellow sailor, since the neighborhood teemed with them and so many were of questionable character. He zeroed in on a captain's bunkmate, a sailor named Johnson. He was a capable liar who convinced everyone but Hayes of his innocence. Fortunately, Hayes had one last trick up his sleeve to prove his theory. In one of the first mentioned uses of psychology to gain a confession, Hayes had Johnson brought to City Hall, where the shipmaster's corpse was being kept until burial. Hayes pulled off the shroud covering the captain's remains and bellowed, "Look at the body. Have you ever seen that man before?" Johnson turned pale at the sight and blurted out, "Yes, Mr. Hayes, I murdered him." The admission sent him to the gallows, but as the hangman's noose was placed around his neck, Johnson recanted. Hayes climbed the scaffold and glared at him until he admitted his guilt. "Get on with it. I killed him. I can't lie while that man has his eyes on me." As time went on, Hayes's legend grew, as did the size of the force under him, but it was Hayes's exploits that garnered the headlines.